Welcome back to Operation Victory, the channel created to inspire you to create the life you want to live and to give you the tools and tactics to achieve it. Day 15, progress update of my 30-day fast. Overall weight lost, 25 pounds as of this morning when I got out of the shower and stepped on the scale. I'll be giving you guys the clothed G-rated version in just a little while. But so far I have lost 4 inches, 1 inch from my chest, 2 inches from my waist, 1 inch from my hips. I'm into slightly smaller clothes. I have more clothing options again in my closet, which is always nice. It was kind of a bummer to have to wear the same thing over and over again because I let myself get fat. Energy wise, feeling great, feeling upbeat. Haven't had any caffeine in 15 days. Again, I'd mentioned in the previous video, the first 4 were probably about the hardest, and then everything kind of mellowed out. I'm also going to show you guys here in a little bit what I eat on the daily per a viewer request in the comments. Here is the weight today with my clothes on, 258 pounds. Weighed in without, and I was about 255 this morning. So, I got to account for those 3 pounds of pants and shirt and then holding my phone, obviously. But yeah, the weight is coming right off. So this is what I typically eat in a day. The only thing missing is some herbal tea, which I left at work. But as you can see in the strainer is about 2.5 pounds of grapes. I prefer green, but you can eat whatever color you want. I also suggest that you use a fruit and vegetable wash because nobody likes to eat pesticides. If you don't have access to a fruit and vegetable wash, you can simply use apple cider vinegar or white vinegar. Just put them in a bowl, soak them for about a half hour, and then rinse them really well. I also refrigerate my grapes because I don't really care for room temp grapes. I like that cold snap. Also, I drink a lot of lemon water, so that hydro flask there is 40 ounces. I go through about 3 of those a day, and then I drink a few more cups of tea just to round out the gallon. And when I say tea, I mean non-caffeinated herbal tea. I really like my lemon lime juicer there. I found it helps me to make the least amount of mess possible. And yeah, so about a gallon of water, 2.5 pounds of grapes, some tea, and lemons, and occasionally some other fruit. But this is primarily it. What you're looking at is what goes for the last 14 days. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about, though, otherwise, was how to begin to take charge of your life every day. And how do you do that? You do that by your rituals. Well, some of you might be asking, what are your rituals? Well, let me tell you. Your rituals are those things that define what you do every single day, your habits, your patterns, etc., that either move you in a direction of what you want or move you farther away from where you want to be. Or worse, they're just kind of neutral and they keep you stuck. So they're not really doing anything except wasting your time. So on that note, what are your rituals for you that are putting you into a positive state? What are you doing to get into a good mental state every day? And I'm going to go over some tips and tricks here in just a little bit that are going to maybe give you a basic blueprint on how to do that if you don't already have a good morning ritual, because how we attack the day is all about how we start the day. What state are you in when you get up? Are you grumpy and miserable and, oh, fuck this, I don't want to do anything today. I got to go to work again. Oh, my life is so miserable. Or do you wake up and like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to go conquer this today. How do you start your day? That's the beginning. That's the first part of your rituals right there. So now I'm going to kind of go into some steps here. The daily ritual example. It's a little bit of kind of what I do every day. There's a couple of little things sprinkled in there. But let's start, right? So jumping right in. What am I looking forward to today? What are some small daily things that I am grateful for? This is the first question that I ask myself, right? So I get up in the morning, I take my dog out because his ritual and part of my ritual is he's got to go to the bathroom and he likes to sniff, and that sets him up for success for the day. So while I'm out there, and he's sniffing and doing his business, I start asking myself these questions. and I get into a mind frame. Okay, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish today? What's the person, who is the person that I want to show up? You know, I want to be a good person. I want to go after the things that I want. I don't want to focus on the negative. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to start on my state. And I start on my state by this next question that I ask myself. And that is, what am I looking forward to in the future? What are my long-term goals? What do I want? Where do I want to be? And how will I get there? So when I do that, I actively visualize. I get into an attitude of gratitude, right? I think about all of the things I want, way out, like, you know, even the next 10 years, in the next 5 years, in the next year, like what it is that I want. Oh, and one caveat on to the first question. When you're asking yourself, what are you looking forward to today? And what are some small daily things that you can do that you're grateful for? Spend that first few minutes in like thinking about some things that you're blessed to have right this second, because that's going to prime you for this second question. So for me, right, I like to say, you know what? Thank you that I have a job. Thank you that my bills are paid. Thank you that I have a roof over my head and food in my stomach, right? Just a simple example. We all have a lot of negative things that we can focus on, but there's also plenty of things that we have that we can be grateful for that a lot of the world doesn't have. So, into the second question. What am I looking forward to in the future? What are my long-term goals? What do I want? Where do I want to be? And how will I get there? So I put here in my notes to say, get in an attitude of gratitude. Close your eyes and get into that compelling future. What does it feel like? What do you see? Are there any smells, any sounds? How do you see yourself in this image? Is it a moving picture? Really start to visualize what this looks like, because the clearer it becomes, right? Maybe turn up the volume, brighten up the colors. If there's something you don't like, dim it down. Make the picture everything that you want so that it's super compelling. And then I want you to hold that image in your head and then come back to the present and live your present day going forward for the rest of your day like you already have those things that you want. And I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. When you do that, it sets you up into a great mental state, right? Because you're already living that rich, fulfilled life. And I'm not saying that, you know, you're just going to stay in the clouds and dream, no. Or you're just going to hope like, well, I sent the message out to the universe and now I'm going to sit on my ass and wait for it to come back. It doesn't work that way. So now that you've created a compelling future that you're grateful for, and you've thought about all those things, really felt it in your body, maybe even felt, you know, like, what does that feel like? Oh, I have a really good feeling of joy and happiness and peace in my gut. But I can almost feel that other person or that experience. I could smell the waves. I could smell the scent of the pines from traveling. I can hear all of the people that I'm talking to, you know, that I get to meet and I get to interact with. I can see the growth potential of the company that I'm starting. So now that you're living that in the present, you're in that great mental state, but you still have to take action to get there. So what we focus on, we get more of. If you want to support your goals, manage your time, your energy, and your relationships better. Cultivate your resources and life in such a way that they support your personal growth. So our time is our biggest resource. And it's the biggest one that most of us who work 9-to-5 jobs sacrifice for money. You know, but also like our energy, right? You get up, if you're not eating right, if you're not exercising, if you're not taking care of yourself, then how can you have the energy to do these other things and get toward those next goals? Or what about if you're in a toxic relationship or you have toxic friendships like frenemies and whatever else? How can you achieve what you're after if you're in a situation that doesn't promote, you know, health and wellness and you moving toward your success? If you're in one of those type of relationships that's toxic, it's just going to be this cyclical thing where literally you're using all of your time, all of your energy focusing on this other person or this situation just to stay afloat and try to navigate those waters instead of like cutting that off, getting rid of those people and opening up the opportunity for new and better people who support you and support your mission and vice versa into your life. So the next point that I'd like to kind of get into is our shoulds versus our must. When our goals are not compelling and the future is dim, we stay content in our own stagnation. If you're not progressing, then you're dying. Period. Don't should all over yourself, which we like to do, right? How many times have you said, or you've heard somebody else say, oh, I really should lose some weight. I really should go to the gym. I really should eat better. I really should take care of that today. I really should go run that errand. Whatever. We say should all the time. But it's not important to you because it's not compelling for you to do. And so you will stay in that stagnation of mediocrity as long as you are unwilling to look at what you have going on and say, this doesn't work for me. And then when you finally get to that point of saying, this is my must, and it's in congruence with your goals and alignment with who you are as a person, then you're going to take action, and it's not going to be a hard thing to do. Much like this fast, right? 30 days, 15 days, and I'm still going strong. It hasn't been a challenge for me because I know the outcome of what I'm looking for. As a mindset coach, as a health and wellness coach, as a practitioner of NLP, and as a goal setter and an entrepreneur and everything else I'm trying to be, I know what I want. And what I want is to have the best body I can so that I have the energy to go out and to help all of you guys and to create those compelling futures for you. To be able to do more, give more, be more, create more. That's the reason why I'm doing all of this. And that shows you, like, when the goal is congruent with what you want, you're just going to go after it and it's not going to be a problem. But if you do have a problem, it's because you got some self-doubt in there. And if you have self-doubt, then it's just going to continue to be more of the same no matter what you try to do. Oh, I tried to break this. I did 100 diets. I did this and this and this. So there might be a limiting belief or a limiting behavior that's also in there. So shameless plug, if you have any of those things that are coming up as we're going through this and you want coaching, you can hit me up in the comments below. And I'm willing to give you all the tools that I have and my direct time and attention to help you get rid of those things and get clear on your goals. But anyway, enough of the plug. Back to where we're going here. So the next question that I like to ask myself is, am I being my best friend and cheerleader right now? Do you cheer yourself on, or do you critique yourself over every little thing every single day? If it's the latter, then you need to shift your mindset and do some thinking about, why is it that I critique myself? But more than that, do a reframe. Let's focus on what's good. Because again, what you focus on, you get more of. So if you're constantly in a negative state, going back to states, what are you going to get? If you wake up and you're miserable and you focus on the misery, and then all of a sudden you're sick, and then you get a flat tire, and then somebody ran over your cat, and then you got in a car accident on the way to work, and then your boss yelled at you when you got to work for being late, and then you had a stack of paperwork 300 feet high. Those are a lot of variables. But what you focus on, you get more of. So if you approach things from a positive state and you're in a good positive state, then you vibrate on that level and you bring more of that into your being, into yourself, into your sphere. So maybe if you look in the mirror when you get out of the shower and you're like, fuck, I am fat as shit. I look like 5 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag. Maybe that's not the way to start the day, right? Because you're already like, oh God, look at me, I'm worthless, I'm all this other stuff. But if you're like, you know what, I really like, pick one feature. I really like my eyes. I like how green they are. It says a lot about who I am as a person. You know what? I like my gap. It gives me character. It helps me to stand out and be unique in a great way. And I wouldn't change that for the world. So just that simple reframe. And I talk about things that I like about myself. I feel better. And when I'm feeling better, it's like my drill instructor used to say, you look good, you smell good, you feel good, right? So if that's the case and that's what you're doing by reframing that and you're focusing on those positive things, not to say that there's not any problems, but if you focus on the positive, you attract more of the same. And do that enough times, it creates a habit. And that habit will end up dictating, your behaviors down the road. So on that note too, when things are tough, don't dwell on the problems or create more. Take a breath, go outside, plant your feet in the dirt or in the grass, bare feet. Take some time, focus on what's good, get centered with who you are. Then look at your problems for what they are. Don't make them worse, and then create a plan to solve the situation. It might take a little time, especially if you dug yourself into a hole financially, or you have gained some weight, or you're having relationship problems. By doing this, instead of being reactionary, you just take a second out, I'm going to remove myself from this situation for a moment. I'm going to go get into my emotional center. I'm going to be grounded. I'm going to be good. And then I'm going to look at this problem with logic instead of emotion. And I'm going to be able to create a plan and solve it. And then the last question I ask myself is, what specifically am I doing to help me attain my goals? Are you getting work done or just being busy? We all have endless to-do lists. I know, like I do myself. And I catch myself a lot of times doing the crap that doesn't move me toward my goals. I procrastinated in other areas. And I'll talk about that in the next video, I think. Procrastination and how to overcome it. But how many times and how many of us are so guilty of just being busy? You got 100 things to do and you're doing all of the nitpicky crap. It's, like I'm so busy, I'm super busy. But what about so you're doing the 80% that doesn't matter, but what if you did the 20%? Like if you had to choose 3 things for your survival today to get done, to move you towards your goals, what would they be? And prioritize those. Like, these are the things that I need to get done to get to X, and do them. That is the 20% that is going to take care of the 80%. And if you do that every day, you might get around to some of the other piddly stuff, or it can get backburner, or you can look at it and say, I don't even need to do that. Like, that's not important. Then you're going to start making measurable steps toward where you want to go. So on the last note, I would like to say this when it comes to busy work. Busy work is like masturbation. It's doing something, but it's not doing what you want to be doing. So always be doing what you want to be doing. Take those big chunks that you need to do and get them done, because they are your musts instead of your shoulds. And when you do your musts, you will get more of your musts, and you will get to the end state of your goal. And when you get to the end state of your goal, you'll be like, I have arrived. That's the end, right? No, it's not. So you'll get there and you'll be like, well, I did that. What's next? But by doing that, you'll constantly find yourself in a better mental state. So guys, if you like this video, please like and comment. You can follow me on Instagram, RichardBack8. You can find me on Facebook under the same name. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.